Welcome back to the Martini Works podcast.
Yes.
Who am I here with?
I am Gels.
And then very special guest.
Wow, very.
Yeah.
So celebrated today. My name is Christopher Cody Hartle, and this is it. I feel like the younger, a few years ago version of me. Like this would be a highlight sitting down with you.
Oh, but now it's not. Dang.
Yeah, we're washed up.
Dang. Yeah. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. And thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate it.
Always.
You're a homie for real. You hooked me up with breakfast sausage while we were at Grid Life, and then you hooked up Alex with a 350 to drift.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
So that's huge bonus points. I think I got the better end of the deal with the sausage.
Yeah, probably.
I did airplane it into your mouth with sound effects.
It
I
was
want to say
magic.
it was a soft entry. We'll just say that. Well, I think with airplanes, there's some specific hard landing protocol.
Yeah.
So the intention was everyone in the cabin stayed in their seats.
Yeah, it was
Gotcha.
good. It was good. Clean
that's what
butter landing for sure. So what were you drifting while you were at Grid Life?
Corvette.
Corvette.
Yeah.
Corvette Club. It was funny how it played out. So at the end of the whole event, the last cars to be loaded up were Corvettes.
Damn.
Meaning they made it, knock on wood, they made it all the way through the weekend and took a heck of a beating. But yeah, Corvette, to be honest with you, it's the easy button.
It is. I mean, it's such a good platform, and I think for a while people were thinking of them as the New Balance jorts, old guy midlife crisis car, and then they realized as soon as they came down in value a little bit, it's wait a minute. There's a lot of car you're getting for the money. This thing gets down in multiple different ways too. It's so universal across the board what you can do with them.
Right.
So a really untapped platform. But let's rewind it a little bit. How long have you been drifting? What got you into drifting? And is that the car you started with?
Yeah. So what got me into drifting? This would have been, 2003 SEMA.
Mm-hmm.
Was the first year I believe that they brought in the D1 Japan cars. Mm-hmm. So the Apex, is it Apex E? I don't know how to pronounce that stuff.
Apex.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the white FD, right?
Yeah. Iconic.
Exactly. So I was at SEMA, and that was the first time that I had ever saw it. Grew up north, so I was always sliding different vehicles. The vehicle probably that I spent the most amount of time sliding before 20 was a straight six rear-wheel drive Cherokee, and it had the steering in this thing. I'm not kidding you guys. I mean, we slid it in winter and then on gravel.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So more maybe in a rally type of situation, but the wheel on that, the power steering in that vehicle, it was the most free-floating self-centering wheel that I've ever driven. Do you remember when we were little? I mean, I think that we're kind of the same age, but so it was the game with the three trucks with the wheel and the nitro button, and you could just spin the wheel and forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The steering in that Jeep felt similar.
Oh my God.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that's what got me started into sliding. I went through my 20s and 30s just working. Drifting definitely is it's a financial addition to your lifestyle.
100%.
Absolutely.
So served some time in retail, and then got into businesses, and just finally got to a place I was I'm building these things, and I needed to remember I got to do some stuff for myself. So at the time, my mechanical inclination was on a 10 scale, 0.01 maybe. But I knew that I liked to slide stuff, and I knew that I had that part of it. So just leaned into it. I did start with a Corvette straight out of the gate. My main thing was that I had learned, I'd been, watching drifting for a long time because of the mechanical piece to it. And I wanted to be driving versus wrenching on the thing.
Sure.
So Corvette just was the simple platform. I wanted to be able, if it breaks, when it breaks, be able to go to a, AutoZone, Napa, O'Reilly, wherever the heck I am, and grab, OEM stuff. So did that. Started with the Corvette, fully built that up, and then grabbed a 350. I think y'all have done some stuff with Andy at ASM.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Andy, good mentor. I'd like to call him a friend if I'm cool enough to do that. But there was an event, and he handed me the keys to co-drive one of the ASM Trainer Zs, and just that thing with an angle kit and a little bit of work into it. It felt like I was in a video game. I was like, I have to buy one of these.
Yeah.
Dang, wow.
Yeah. So it's like a rallycross type
Yeah.
of thing. But, here's the hack. Like, you do any type of automotive sport, if it's set up for drift, you just have that much more ability, right?
Right.
Even, I think sometimes within, like, the autocross world, like, having the ability to go to max angle if it's a really technical track, like, I think that would make you faster. But anyways, so drove that, had a ton of fun with it, and within like 2 months' time, I had found an individual that was in a really interesting financial situation. Basically, if I remember it right, like kind of an ultimatum, like if there's not a ring on this finger in like a month's time, like we're not going to be living at the same address anymore. So I got into that situation, and I've had so much fun with that car. So yeah, Alex got to drive it. Coming off of though, like that thing saw like 1,100 miles on the ice this last winter.
Holy crap.
Oh,
man.
damn.
I mean, the Wisconsin is just such a great, if you're an automotive enthusiast and a driver, there's so many different opportunities for you to be able to get behind the wheel. And the hack is the local clubs will plow the track in. I always paid for the event to be clear, but I also was always out there the day before, the day after their event, and then the following days just rutting their course into the lake, right? So you can go all day. And it's really no consumables.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah. So you ice raced the Z?
So it's that thing is its primary. I bet it probably 4 or 5 times the amount of miles on the ice as it did drifting.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
I love that.
Did you run studded tires or no studded tires?
So they're the WS90. I believe it's a Bridgestone maybe tire, Blizzak maybe, whatever. That tire slightly aired down is phenomenal.
Wow.
Just that. And it was incredible. I still, to this day, going back and forth I slid that, and then my daily driver in the winter is a built STI, same compound, but the drift car was actually so much better from a handling standpoint. And then it saw its fair amount of miles in the Fox Valley.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Doing weather reports, guys. You got to make sure that people feel safe to drive on the street.
You take the Corvette out on the ice?
I haven't yet.
Would you do it?
It's not. Yeah, I probably would.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is when I think about the Z is a little bit shorter in wheelbase, and if I get into a situation like the suspension pieces are a bit cheaper to repair,
sure,
and you will get into situations, especially when you're sliding around curbs and things of that nature. But I would if someone came to me and it was a setup that I can just throw in the car, I absolutely would. Corvette probably has way too much torque and power though. Like the Z is in this like really, really perfect place of power that it currently has to be able to put things down.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've never done ice racing. I've never been to it. I need to go. I'd love to just watch or do like a ride along even to check it out because it seems intimidating, but so dang cool.
It's so much fun. And have you guys done anything with rally? Ever driving on like gravel or anything? So the main thing that I got to do the Snoqualmie Dirtfish, they're like license or whatever. So the thing is like on gravel and then onto ice, your inputs just have to be in that much sooner to get the car to do what you're going to do. So, especially, when you're doing it in a drift car and working to not drive the track fast, but to link the whole thing, your inputs have to be in so much faster and you have to learn to be so much more patient. So like working on like left foot braking and things of that nature, you really are able to get a good understanding and start to build that muscle memory. Cause for drifting, so much of it is you need to be able to understand when and how to do that. And you'd think that it would be just like a muscle that you develop immediately because you just would think that way. But because the amount of time you've been driving and using your right foot to do all those things, those muscles work quite a bit differently. So like kind of getting yourself trained up to it. But dude, say no more. Like anytime you want to come out there, if it is a weekend and I'm not traveling for business or down in Arizona and the ice is good, I am on the ice.
Heck yeah.
Dude, that's so cool. I love that.
So dope.
So I think it's really interesting too that you have the 350 and the Corvette.
Yep.
How do you decide which one you're going to like drift in the summer?
My favorite thing to do when I have homies that would like to drive out one of those cars to the track, gentlemen, is no, I like to have both of them at events, and I like to jump back and forth because
cool.
like, but the wheelbase and some of the dynamics of power and things of that nature, I think you really can grow as a driver when you're jumping back and forth from multiple platforms and trying to run the same line, if you will.
Yeah, because then I feel like you're not just like accommodating to the car. You're learning how to like use each one individually, and it's like you're not just this is how this one likes to go, so I just learned that. So you're like, no, this technique works for both vehicles. It's like it's broader than just the platform.
That's wild. You drift on hard mode.
I mean, that's really my thing. I think sometimes the unfortunate part of it is that I like, if I'm at an event, I want to be driving. There's sometimes this narrative that might be like, you're ego-based, antisocial, or any of the things. It's like, no, man, I'm just here to drive, so I really, really want to do that. And when you have both cars there, you jump in one of them, heat cycle those tires, car gets hot, bring it back in, tires cool, jump in the other one.
True.
So you're just it's such a good thing for muscle memory. And then also too, I mean, from a standpoint of like just getting to experience it. Each one have their nuances, right? So it really pushes you as a driver. And then also too, for like people on your ride-alongs, they're very different experiences. The Corvette has so much more power, and it's set up a bit looser. So like that thing is, I mean, you probably could drink a coffee. After the first initiation, like whatever that nonsense needs to be, the rest of it is really calm.
It's so smooth. Huh? It is so smooth because it's like, I remember when I like first went for like some ride-alongs up like at US Air or whatever, and it was in like some S chassis, it was in some things like that, and it's like usually it's like those cars are getting thrown into the corners, and like you really have to drive them, really, like really chuck them in, really a lot of speed, and it's like I remember hopping in with Chris, and it was like comfortable. Yeah. Like I was like ready to brace myself. I was like, wait. And it's like it's just wow. And I'm like, this is nice.
Shane, my good buddy, and he is a hell of a wheelman. But what he calls, so like because of the way that the Corvette's set up in there, he's like, dude, that's like sleepy drifting. You jump from something that you really have to huck in and mechanically not have a lot of sympathy for the car. Whereas the Corvette has enough power that, from a stance of just you're just out there grassroots drifting, it's able to do that.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's, it's interesting because the biggest thing that I had, heading out of grid life this year was just this really large awareness of like, I'm at a point within drifting that the amount that I care about cosmetic sympathy and mechanical sympathy, it's now at a point that if my driving is going to get better, I really have to dial those back.
Yeah.
And like be okay. Like it is going to break. Right? You are going to hit people.
Yeah.
I noticed that last year grid life, I felt like I saw so many things within driving ability move so far forward. This year's grid life, I probably got 4 or 5 times the amount of humans like in the car with me. But when I really looked at it, like the people that I got to drive with, it was because I didn't want to be either on their door or have some guy that I've never driven with before. Like, hey man, do you actually understand what you're doing? And I'm going to be able to drive this thing back onto my trailer, or am I going to be needing to use the winch because it's packed, right? Yeah. So yeah, interesting. But back to both of them though. I mean, I feel like right now, and people probably light me on fire for this, but between those two platforms, I just can't be convinced that there's a better one right now.
Damn. Yeah. Than the Corvette
or Z.
Oh, sure.
Like
either one.
The support that's out there for both of them is incredible. And there's so many people that have done it. And also, to the situation that I ended up with, both of these cars really were just people that were on their ways of building them that got too financially over leveraged and they had to let it go. I mean, we just saw I'm honestly mad that if you can hear the emotion in my voice of how pissed off I am about this. So we saw a 2JZ powered BRZ that has all of the things, like full Winters quick change, full cage, everything.
Wow.
Built motor, thing is like comp car ready to go. Right after grid life, it sold for $27,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude, like that's what I mean.
Damn.
Actually, I'm going to use this opportunity. If you would happen to have a C6 that you're on your way to building it as a comp car and you just don't want to get into it, I am in the place to buy a C6
Hit 'em
right
up.
now.
Hit 'em up.
So, if you are out there and you have that beautiful beast sitting in your garage and you're not driving it, I would like to drive it.
There you go.
Let you know.
But all that to be said, though, there's these situations with both those platforms. There's an incredible amount of support, and you go to an event, especially now, the majority, I would say, in the 40 to 50% place, is either going to be something that is a VQ type of platform, or now is Corvette. So like, if you break stuff, people have the things to help you out.
100%.
Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like every time we go to the track, it's like, oh, there's either more G35s, G37s, 350Zs, even 370s, honestly.
Yep.
And even like a lot of like the new BRZs and stuff showing up.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. So it's like a lot of like the guys like myself hanging on to like the S chassis stuff, but it's like I feel like you're seeing a lot more of like that quote unquote newer age, like early 2000s stuff really coming into play now.
Yep.
370Zs seems crazy to me. Have they like come down in price a little bit?
I feel like the non-Nismo ones definitely have. So like you go get like a non-Nismo like entry level like trim with some like 90, 100,000 miles on it, you can get it for probably like 15.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
Wow.
a few really well sorted out ones right now in a number of groups. If I didn't know what I really specifically want, that would be a really, really great one to jump into right now.
Yeah, it seems like a phenomenal platform to hop into.
Yeah.
It's just crazy though, because it still seems in like
I've
my
always
eyes,
thought of them as really expensive.
I know, like really expensive, like new yet, and it's like, God damn, that car is like
Well, they've been making 350s and 370s
What,
for how long?
15 years. I wanted the
Is it the 370?
Yeah.
That gen is that old now?
So I want to say what they came out in what, like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, that would be right.
That's crazy.
Put antique plates on it.
Yeah, but you know what? I saw an Audi TT with collector plates on it yesterday.
Wow.
That's
And
crazy.
it crushed my soul a little bit. It was like a first gen like TT convertible black. It was like an older couple in it and had the blue collector plates on the front. I was like, damn.
What happened?
That's another car that feels like it's still like newer a little bit in my brain. Those bubbly TTs. That's funny.
Yeah.
And that's crazy. So you said too, like when you got into this, you weren't necessarily like mechanically inclined, didn't know a lot about it. So did you just kind of learn as you went, or did you have friends that were there with you to help? How'd that go?
Yeah, both. So, YouTube University, right?
Yeah.
For
Nice.
so much of it. And then, the great thing about the automotive community, and specifically, I would say drifting community, is a lot of the people are really wanting to help other people get into it, right? So the first thing that I had done, Zach Visser, good friend of mine, he set me up with a fab shop that basically took the Corvette when I had bought it, put all the drifty parts on it. We got everything set up with it. My main thing was I was like, I might not know how to do this, but I want to be in the shop when it's done. So that's always been something that I try and work for, is like shops that will let me be there. If you have to sign a waiver, insurance wise or whatever. But that's, something that I've always done, and just try and figure it out. Like, I don't know that I need to make a paycheck off of it. Right. But I think, when you break something, if you had an idea of some of the way that it went together, one, and secondly, the mechanics of it, I think it helps you quite a bit.
Oh, absolutely.
From that standpoint. So, what I always like to say is try and, do the thing yourself, and then also have resources for when you run out of skill.
For sure.
So, again, that's where the gents over at ASM, they actually have another one of my cars over there right now. It's really good when you build a relationship and you trust someone with that stuff, because, I mean, as you all know, like, some of these things, depending on what you break, I mean, it really can turn into a rabbit hole. And having people in a shop that you trust and has a lot of integrity, right?
Yeah.
And also does the discipline of what you're doing, right? I think that's an important piece. There's a lot of people that I think are in that space, but unless they really understand the type of use and abuse that a drift car sees, I don't know that you really have a full understanding of how to set that car up.
Sure.
So yeah, always have resources.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I think that leads into the first sponsor of the Martini Works podcast, which is Fortunato. Fortunato makes some fantastic coilovers for tons of different makes and models at this point, too. We run them on a ton of our own cars and have always enjoyed them. They're upgradable. You can put Swift springs in them. They're rebuildable. So if you've had them for a few years and you send them in, Fortunato will tear them down, rebuild them back to spec, and send them right over to you. So make sure you head on over to Martini Works, look through the Fortunato 500s, 510s, depending on what need or use you have for them. And if you have questions, you can hit us up. We'll help you pick out the set of coilovers you need. So a huge shout out and thank you to Fortunato for sponsoring Martini Works podcast. Be right back.
All right, first segment, we talked about some really good platforms, the C5 Corvette 350Z, stuff that we got here in the old US of A. Now, unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that we haven't gotten here that's kind of badass, really dope.
Too much.
What are some of the best cars that the U.S. did not get?
I think a lot of people instantly start thinking of the Japanese cars we didn't get because there's a ton of them.
Yep.
But I'm going to take it over to the Euro side of things and say the Volkswagen Scirocco. Is it the R? Yep. I like the newer model too. Like I do like the old ones, don't get me wrong, but that newer model, I hate that we didn't get it for whatever reason.
Why didn't we get it? I never understood why we never got the Scirocco.
Because is it maybe because it kind of falls in that wagon category and the U.S. hates wagons because we didn't get the BMW wagon, the M wagon that came out. But that changed now because TJ Hunt picked up
got
his.
that 5 wagon.
Yep. So they brought it over. So maybe we're seeing that resurgence.
Okay.
But as a Euro guy that likes Euro stuff, Golf Rs, GTIs, I love the Scirocco, and the fact we didn't get that Scirocco R just kills me every single day.
It was done so well.
Yeah.
I mean, I would go to maybe say of that time, I think it might have been one of the most beautiful things VW was putting out.
Yeah, really, honestly, it was like
so
unique.
different.
Different, but still looked good. Like you could still tell it was like a Volkswagen from the distance.
It always reminded me of it was like a GTI concept car almost.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
It pushed it in a more fun direction.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, what do you have?
So in my mind, I go back to just some of the rally versions that we didn't get, and that would be between some of the versions of the STI, and then also some Evos. You look back to those early gen Evos, man.
They were rowdy.
They're so cool looking.
They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
I absolutely love them. I actually got the chance to ride in Evan Shanks. He had his, I think it was the Evo 4, if I remember correctly. And it's those cars are so cool. And they're nostalgic, too, just seeing them. They're fantastic.
The styling, again, another one where when you look at it, they were so ahead. The things that they were doing from a styling standpoint. it's always so wild. You think as, engineers and designers, you see something like that, and when they have a banger, you'd think that you would see it move and really have kind of a more of an influence on the design language of the brand.
Yeah.
And I just look at it just as a consumer. I'm like, hey, I'm just the peon that buys this stuff. But man, y'all, the design team, give them more freedom.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's so interesting looking at the design language of brands because I think BMW does it in the weirdest way because they have this phenomenon where they'll release a car and I think it looks ugly, but then in a year to 2 years, it's my favorite car. And I don't know how they do that time and time again.
I there's a gentleman, and I forget what his name was, but he's really good. I believe he actually was a designer for BMW at one point. Big YouTuber guy. But he does such a good job, and you're exactly right, dude. And what he always says, he's he'll hate on it when it comes out, and then it's this soft massaging of the version, and then all of a sudden they get the lines right, and it's stunning.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Right? I think what was it? The newest M4 got a lot of hell.
Yep.
The M2 got a lot of hell.
Dude, the M2 was roasted at the freaking stake when it first came out.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember, and it was that and the M240i's, the 2 Series in general. And we went up to that Continental event, and it was at the BMW Performance School. And we saw some of the M240s. We got to drive some of the M240s. And we're like, dude, these cars slap.
Yeah.
These are good cars. It completely flipped my perspective on them.
100%. 100%.
Crazy.
And it is so wild though. You have to have, it's such a big bet, right? If you think of them and they're okay, we know this is going to push, the envelope, and especially BMW who has, I think that they've kept so true to that general front end appearance of what that car is.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to reinvent it, you got to take risks.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. That's true.
And again, I think it's an interesting thing when we look at some of these things that like didn't get brought to America and imagine what they could have sold. You know, even your point about the wagon, right? Like you think of the amount of people, like if there had been an attractive wagon, would you have one right now? I would. For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
I love wagons. The closest one I think is like Buick came out with one not like super long ago, and I always thought it would look phenomenal on air and on some wheels and just cleanly done, but overall it just doesn't compare with a lot of the wagons that came out overseas.
Yep.
I think, what do we have, like Volvo maybe makes some wagons that we still have, and that's kind of it here.
Right.
But I love them. Like I had a Jetta Sportwagen TDI. I love that car. It's one of my favorite cars. They're so practical, but you still get like the smallness of a car, but with the functionality of like a truck. Dude, it's a win-win.
Yeah.
Gels.
Also, looking at that too, though, real quick, like I remember back, and I think it would have been 2 versions ago when with the STI they went away from the wagon. I just like sat there and again, I'm like,
Yeah.
Oh,
what
yeah.
are you guys doing?
Yeah.
You literally
Dude, like,
had it.
Like that,
Yeah.
was it like the 2008 or 2007, like the hatchback, like STI,
Yeah.
like so good.
Yeah.
It's such a good looking car. And especially, I even like they had it in Fast and Furious too, I remember. And it was like, holy shit, that thing is dope.
Yeah.
And it was such a change up.
And then they axed it.
And they killed it. And they're like, nope, too
No
good.
more.
What
Too
do we
good.
know?
America
Must be a
hates
niche
hatchbacks.
audience.
I
Like
guess.
maybe are car enthusiasts more enthralled to get a wagon versus like the general consumer. But with the
Which is so
craze of
weird.
SUVs,
You would
Yeah.
think that,
why are wagons so?
I don't know.
The rest of the world likes them,
Yep.
I guess. But Giles, do you have some cars?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, what
There
you got?
was an era where we were missing out on a lot of Hondas.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the FD2 and the FK2 Type R.
Oh.
Yeah. And we finally got back with like the FK8. Now we got
Yes.
the FL5. But like, yeah, like the FK2. I know like Ben and them from like Gears and Gasoline. They
Yes.
went over and like did like their European like road trip.
Dude, that
And
car's so
They
sick.
picked up one, and it was like, dude, those cars are so dope. Like, I think it's so funny because it's like we look at it, it's like, dude, the FK8 came out of nowhere. It's so aggressive, and it's like you look at the FK2, it's like it kind of started it, like because like it was a little more mild, but it still had like the wing like the FK8, like it had like that aggressiveness to it, but just kind of like, I don't know, it's almost like a little more smushed. But it's sick. I love those cars, and they're fantastic. I wish we would have got them.
Absolutely. I think that's a phenomenal choice. I mean, you can literally go on with this subject forever because it seems like we got a ton of stuff, or we didn't get a ton of stuff.
Kind of got shafted on a lot of this.
Like, I think the Chaser.
Chasers,
I don't know
dude.
why we didn't ever get Chasers. There's a lot of like Japanese like big body sedans that
Which is
we
crazy.
didn't get.
Yeah, dude, like another one like the Toyota Century.
Yeah.
I think now they're starting to make it over here. Now,
Are
like
they?
there's like the version, or no, that's the Toyota Crown. They brought the
Oh,
Crown
yeah.
back or whatever. Yeah, dude, the Century. Oh my god, that car is so baller. Like
It is.
dude, it's
You
so
hit on
incredible.
one though too, because that the brand Holden, I believe they had like a G8, and did they have a 2-door version as well that we never got?
They had the Ute.
Was that?
The Ute. It was like a car. It was like, I think it was 2-door with a truck bed on it.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Holden
yeah, yeah. I've
Ute.
seen
But
that
then I
drifted.
believe it has a V8 in
Yes,
it.
sir.
Yeah, that Holden makes some crazy stuff, and we got like our US version with
Yeah.
Pontiac.
Yeah, like the G8.
Yeah.
Even like, yeah, it was the G8 because the GTO came for it, and that had like a huge V8 in it too. But the
them
G8
Holdens
was like the
are-
4-door, like just shoulder broad. Like, this thing was bad. And then we had the kind of like the Chevy SS for a while too, which was
Yes, that
kind of
was-
similar.
I've seen some people do some like Holden, like, I don't know if
Yeah.
conversion is the
Yeah.
right word, but they'll put the badges and stuff of different bumpers, and they kind of swap them over. That's another really cool one that our friends over in Australia got, but we don't get to mess around with.
Nope, unfortunately not. Another one, the GR Yaris.
Oh,
that's a
yeah.
good call.
Yeah. Another
Why?
just like super like little hot hatch. Like, bro, why are we not getting those?
I got the Corolla, but the Yaris, they're like, nah, the Americans, they don't like that.
Yeah, too small, too small.
I would like to like sit on those meetings and see. I'm assuming it's some type of vote.
Yeah.
That like, do you think this will do numbers in this country? And then if it doesn't make a certain cut, then they're like, oh, we're not going to sell it there.
It was
How that
crazy too
works.
because it's like, you know, we talked about like the Euro stuff, but it's like Europe got a lot. Like we talked about like the Civic, for instance. It's like Europe got the Type R's. Like
Yeah.
Europe got freaking Focus RSs for the longest time.
Oh, we did.
They got American-made cars that we didn't get. Like, what the hell is that?
It's so true. Yeah, I forget all the time about the what is it, like the Mark II or Mark III Focus RS.
Yeah.
And those cars are actually really sick. I really like them. They look nice. They're
Brilliant.
They're different. And I mean, that's definitely like a rally heritage
100%.
car too. Why didn't we get that? What?
I don't know.
Do they just think it would have did terrible here?
There's like a specific, it's so interesting that, is it regulation or, some of the things like the power output, I mean, in a number of cars that we're now talking about here, was it just too much?
Right.
Right. I don't know. I've genuinely put, you should put so much thought. Now what I want and need is in a pretty like specific space. But in that way though, like you'd look back and there were so many cars, especially in like the earlier part of my, automotive enthusiast journey, that I would just sit there and like, it's affordable and I'd be able to have it and it'd be a ton of fun. Right. Gosh, all those, anything that was rally based that we never got.
Yeah. The Nissan Pulsar is a little hot hatch turbocharged.
So again, the hot hatches, they're shafted us on the hot hatches.
Yeah. As another really sick car.
I'm trying to confirm this one because, like the Unos Cosmo, so like the Mazda like Cosmo, the 3-rotor.
I gotta look. I don't know if I know that.
We never
one.
got
I'm
that.
gonna look it up.
That car is honestly a little bit of a sleeper.
Yeah.
Like because they were like the only, I think, like the only Mazdas that ever come with an actual 3-rotor from the factory.
Oh, this is a unique looking car too.
Let me see it.
Yeah, they're rowdy.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. So it's a 3-rotor, huh?
Yep.
So is that 3 chances for shit to go wrong? Or?
Yep.
Damn. Perfect. You know what? Maybe they can keep. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but it was like a really like the tech inside was like really like ahead of its time. I think it had like a lot of like digital stuff in it. It was meant to be like luxury. And it was just such a cool car because like the Mazda had a Cosmo like before that, and then it switched to like the Unos one or whatever. But got a little weird. But
the last one, and I would grab one of these. There was a number of Lotuses. I'm such a sucker for those cars.
They're quirky.
Yeah,
They're cool. They're like street legal race cars, pretty much.
Yep, and that's exactly it. We're seeing some of the stuff that's coming out now, and I'm like, man, that company, they were again so far ahead, and that one I think I really always liked just because the exterior of it is just it's such a visceral, and there's so much design language going on, and then you get on the interior and they are the most minimally done.
Yeah, they're very like basic, right?
Yeah, super basic.
I don't think I've ever been in one because honestly, I don't even know if I could fit in one. They're tight, but they're so cool. They're so unique. They're so different than everything else.
You
that's
see
out
it. It's
there.
like you automatically know. It's like, oh no, it's a McLaren. No, it's like no, it's a Lotus. They have like that very specific
distinct
design
look
to
to
it.
it.
Yeah, I remember it was a Need for Speed Most Wanted that I remember like the Lotus Elise. It was like the best freaking car in the game. That thing was a powerhouse.
Dude.
And I was like, dude, I want one of these cars so bad. And I realized how expensive they were. I probably won't fit one. But on that note, too, Alex kind of put us on these. It was like the Alpine like A1.
Oh, yeah.
Very kind of similar.
Right.
That was a cool one that we never got either.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm actually wearing the Driver Motorsport shirt today, but going there, it opened my eyes because
So
obviously
many.
you always think of the big ones like the Skylines and stuff like that we didn't get, of course. But there is so many hidden gems and things we didn't get. There's still like I wish I could remember the car. I feel like an idiot that I can't. But at Early Birds, we held an event, and a young lady brought a car I've never even seen before. Do you remember it? It was like green. I think it was on Koenig's. And she got it from Driver
Was
too.
it the Laurel? I think it was a Laurel.
Was it a Laurel? I can't remember. I'm spacing on it. But my point here,
it was with the 2JZ in it, right?
no,
No,
it had an
yeah.
RB, I think.
RB. It might have been, well,
So it's
Nissan Laurel. Yeah, it might have been a Laurel.
Maybe it was. Regardless, it was like I've never seen this car before. I've never seen this color on a vehicle before, and it was something I never heard of. And I've avidly looked at like importing vehicles, and there's still stuff that pops up, and it's like, wow. Why didn't we get this? This is sick.
Dude, it was so crazy because like it felt like for a while they're like, okay, we're building these big saloons, 4 doors, and we're shoving RBs and 1JZs and 2JZs. We're gonna make it like automatic only, but it's still good. Most of them I would say some of them were turbocharged, some of them were not. But it was like they're still putting really good engines in these things.
Great power.
And what the hell? There's a Toyota one too.
there's the Nissan Stagia.
Nissan
They can
Stagia.
come with RBs and
there's
be
like
gnarly.
there's like a Toyota one that it's like it's so unsuspecting looking. It just looks like the most basic, boring traffic, but it's got a turbo 2J under the hood,
Yep.
and it's like, what are we doing?
See, like that's what it's so funny. Again, going back to like, how do these things happen? So you look at that one, you're like, okay, we're gonna take a basic sedan and who that's gonna be for, right? But then we're gonna throw down like our flagship powertrains into these things. That's where I don't know. I think you'd just be interested to know all of the politics and all the design, right? All the meetings that happen behind the scenes. You're like, okay, Carl is going to hate this. Don't tell him until we're actually in production. But we're going to sneak like 1,500 of these in the run, right?
Yeah, for real. Or like they have the body guy and he makes this really boring design, but he knows that it'll appeal to the general mass public. They'll like it because it's a safe bet. Thank you for the buns.
Oh, thank you.
And then you get the
Bread
powerhouse
delivery.
guy, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna sneak a 2JZ in it though. Don't tell the body guy."
Yeah.
I don't know how that works.
Just don't tell him. It's just a 6-cylinder. We need it. Is it the Toyota Cresta? Has I'm literally looking through like drivers like thing right now. The Toyota Cresta had a 1G FE. The Wyndham though, what does a Wyndham have in it?
I don't even know what that is.
So that's another just like kind of goofy looking one. Let me pull it up.
Is it a sedan?
Yeah, it's a big saloon. Yeah, so it's a Wyndham 2.5G. Has
hell is that?
2MZ. Well, that's not what I'm thinking of either. What the hell am I thinking of? But like, yeah, just stuff like this. Like, it just looks like super unsuspecting.
Yeah, it just looks kind of like traffic a little bit. But then there's always like these crazy kits and stuff you can get for them too. And there is like modifications. Obviously, you have to get it overseas, but it's wild.
Another one that I had saw, and I think they had this in like Gran Turismo 2, was the Renault Clio.
Oh yeah,
yes.
Those are mid-engine.
yeah.
Right?
That's a good one.
Yep. And then Peugeot, I think.
Yeah,
I think is how you say that one. That was one that had come up to me. And again, I just think of all of the, is the amount of tracks and things that we have that nature. Imagine the cool things that could have been done with those cars here.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
know. Ooh, the Toyota Aristo. That's what I was
Oh
thinking.
yeah. Aristos. Yeah.
2JZ GT twin turbo. Just big saloon. Like what the
Kind of
hell?
like chaser vibes,
Yeah.
but a little bit different.
A little different, yeah.
100%. There's like just go over to drivers and just scroll, and it's crazy. Some of them are like cheap too. Like you can get them pretty affordable once they're imported.
Every time I go on their website, it just makes me want to build like a dope VIP car.
There's a lot of cool vans.
Dude, there's shit like they'll post
vans.
something up. They must get it on like auction or something like that. Just like throw a bid on it. It's like, oh shit, we won it. I don't know how they end up with some of this stuff. It's like I've never even imagined something like that between like the vans or like the half like lift back like conversion thing. Dude,
Yeah.
it's some crazy shit.
So wild.
It's got like 6 wheels on it. I don't even know.
I mean, I'm surprised that we hadn't talked about this. Used to be, I think, a Martini Works car, but the local drifting legend Brian Peter is unloading his. He has a big VIP Gloria.
Yes.
Oh
You
yeah.
seen that, dude? This thing is proper.
Glorias
Gloria.
are amazing. That was the best car that we've ever had in the shop, and we sold it. Still not sure why. I have no idea why we did, but they are phenomenal.
We always joke. We have Alex bought a new grill for it at one time because the old one was getting kind of like peeled and like the chrome was deteriorating. So like we have a memorial to the Gloria over in the shop area there. The old grill of it, of the best car to ever
Never did
grace-
us wrong.
The best car to ever grace the Martini Workshop.
Again, though, before
Wow.
Alex got that, I didn't even know what those were. I never heard of them, never cared
That car was
about them.
fun.
And then here we go. It's one of my favorite cars we've had.
I do think that the manual swap like made that car what it was. though.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, I
it
agree.
did kind of unlock something a little bit.
Yeah, you had to put a little into
Yeah.
it, but it gave it all back.
It was really cool.
was
It was
sick.
really cool.
It's so wild to see it drift too, because it's just a big old Ford.
Yeah, and it honestly
Homie hauler.
it did it well. Like
Yeah.
it had a lot of roll to it, but it was a boat, but it did it.
See, and that's where I think it'll be kind of fun to see, as we continue on, because part of it is there's people that like to do the thing that there's the easy path, and there's people that want to forge their own path with that, and bring some of that into, whatever focus of driving that you have. But it's going to be exciting because, like
Yeah.
you said, I mean, all of it's becoming more like there's certain things that still have their tax to them, but others are becoming more and more affordable.
Which is good.
100%.
I like
It's time to be alive. gentlemen.
Have you ever drifted right-hand drive?
I have not yet.
I always thought that was weird because Alex has obviously done it, and then Jules, you've done it too. I
the
thought
GTT,
that would throw you off so bad, but you said it was like fairly natural.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like the other nerves that like kind of quelled it or what. I didn't even think twice of it, honestly. Like it was so weird. And it was until like you really said something like, "Oh, dude, how is it like drifting right-hand drive?" I was like,
Oh wait,
I honestly didn't even think of that. Oh my god, it was more of like, oh my god, I'm drifting a Skyline, Jesus Christ, an R34 Skyline with don't break it, don't do something. I was more worried about that than like the right-hand
Being on
drive.
the other
aspect
side
of
of
it.
the car.
Focused there.
That car drifts.
It's so surprising because when you drive right-hand drive, it's different. Like it's not night and day,
Yeah,
but
and
it's different.
I think-
and like I feel like you always like you hug the line
Yes.
or something, right? Unintentionally, just because you're on the. So that's why I figured like drifting, like your line is
I
going to
think-
be way different.
I think I was at that point, like I had driven enough right-hand drive where it's like I was used to that in general. Because I remember the first time driving right-hand drive was when we went and visited Driver, and they're like, "Oh yeah, here's the Century for you guys," and then like they threw me the keys to. I'm like, I've never driven right-hand drive before, and it was like at night in a new area, new car that was like had like some wide wheels on it, and we're like big. It was the Century, like big car, and we're driving through like downtown. I'm like trying not to hit the freaking any curbs or anything like that, and it's like, holy shit. And that was the same thing. I was like crowding like the other line and stuff like that, and it felt like I was constantly like fighting it over. So I think definitely like just getting some experience, like just driving that first definitely helped because once we were on the track, I like I said, I didn't even think of it, but it's cool.
Yeah, I'd like to
Really
have the
cool.
experience. I think the part that would get in my mind right now is just thinking like to reprogram to grab for the hydro. on the
Yeah. Like the left hand movement, definitely, I would say a little different. And it's like with that car, it's like, especially US Air, it's like typically you throw, at least the cars I drive, throw it in second, and it's just you're good.
there.
That's kind of where it sits. So you shift into second, you're good, and then you're grabbing the e-brake every now and then. But I think if you had to do more of that, like your higher speed or something like that, or you're having to shift like then maybe it would definitely throw me off a little bit. But
Yeah, I'd definitely have a couple offs where, like, you see in the film, like, why are you trying to grab for the mirror, dude? Like, you don't need the mirror here. Like, that's not the thing you need right now.
Chris, so you've drifted US Air, Grid Life. I think you were at Bruce City Banger too, drifting, which that had to
Good
be terrifying,
Lord.
right?
Dude, that
Was that scary?
I don't like it was intimidating.
Yeah. Okay.
There's so much concrete around you, and being there, another mentor and like to consider him a friend, watching one of them total their car, I was like, and he's a really, really great driver, right?
Yeah.
That was incredible. Again, just really unique opportunities though, and the largest thing I think within all those, like, it's all intimidating, so just start somewhere, right? Yeah. But yes, that was that's probably tied with Grid Life this year.
I was gonna ask what your favorite was that you've been, if you have a favorite track.
So shamelessly, when I go back to the like Bruce City definitely is up there. But I think the most fun on a layout they've had was we ran this keyhole style layout at Zoku. Yeah. And getting into that with like 2 to 3 cars was so much fun. It really felt more like video game.
That's so cool.
Yeah, but Bruce City, just in the sense of really being intimidated and having to work your way up to it. But that's really the benefit. Like when you're able to drive different layouts and then learn, as you're learning to link it, the way that you might have been initiating at the beginning of the day is going to be different at the end of the day, right? So just understanding that, like, your style and your ability is going to change that much. But Bruce City though, I mean, if I had to go one event, that was really
that was insane to watch.
It was wild, and it was crazy too because it's like obviously we knew it was going to be really fast. The drivers knew it was going to be really fast. They knew there was going to be a lot of walls, a lot of concrete, and it was like the beginning of the day. We were set like our tent was set up like kind of right at like the big corner where everyone was watching, and it was like, oh, people were struggling out there. But by the end of the day,
People were throwing down.
Like you could tell that it clicked. Like people were learning, they were understanding, they were getting better, understanding the car, driving that fast, understanding the track. And dude, it was rowdy out there near the end of the day.
Yeah, it was incredible. And again, when you watch people progress through the day like that,
it's so cool.
Yeah, I mean you get to see not only drivers progress, but then when they're able to run tandem together at that level of speed.
Terrifying.
It's insanity.
It is incredible.
It's so cool. But that leads us to our next sponsor, Continental. Not good for drifting, I'll tell you that, but they're good for everything else. So don't use them for drifting. But if you want to take them to the track, you want to autocross, you have a daily driver, use something like the DWS 06 Plus, the Extreme Contact Sport 02. And I seen them, I don't know if you guys have seen, they've been talking about their new Viking Contact 8, which is a winter tire. And the Viking Contact 7, I know this is going to sound lame, I guess. It's one of my favorite tires, even though it's a winter tire.
Yeah.
You'd never think, but throwing that on my Supra and being confident and blowing by SUVs and trucks and four-wheel drive in my Toyota Supra that I didn't raise for the winter was insane, and I'll never forget it. So the fact that they made a Viking Contact 8, I got to get my hands on it because I don't know how they could have improved on it. So now is a great time to start picking up your winter tires too, because they'll start getting out of stock once we get closer and closer to the W word. So go check that out, but head on over to Martin Works. There's tons of sizes for Continental. They have a fantastic warranty on their tires, and we're so appreciative that they chose to sponsor the Martin Works podcast. So thank you, Continental.
Alrighty, so we kind of brought it up near the end of the last segment here at Zoku Drift, talking about events that we were going to and kind of really liked. Chris was like, yeah, shamelessly Zoku. Chris, what is Zoku Drift?
So Zoku basically was, we wanted to use US Air in a way that we weren't getting to drive it a lot, right? Kind of similar. I mean, y'all have ran events there. There's, you look at some of these tracks and the way that they're set up, much like the Motorplex at Grid Life, there's a number, or at Road America, there's a number of different layouts you can run on these things. And however, though, due to, the organizers and what is their whole recipe to what works and the amount of cars they want to have there, you don't get to use the facility fully.
Right.
So, Zoku was an off-season dream of myself and Jake and Craig. And, our main goal there was we wanted to use it in a different way. We had, created some layouts in the sim that we had a ton of fun with. But, really, I think is, as a driver, to run different layouts and be able to learn different layouts, same thing as what we're talking about with the Milwaukee Mile. People hadn't drifted there, I think, in 2 or 3 years, something like that. So, being able to go back into something that had different variables, that one specifically was a lot of concrete and high speed. We looked at Zoku, and what we wanted to do is really create some technical layouts, and we did that on a number of them. And also being able to utilize, 3/4 to the full track. Again, from a driver's standpoint, you can excel so much because you're having to learn new techniques almost on the fly. And then, once you link it for the first time, then really, figuring out, okay, what is the line that I need to run on a good lead run so that you can start to have people chase you. And then the next thing you have trains of, 8 to 10 cars going through it. So yeah, man, it was so much fun.
Yeah. So we got to go up there for the first event, and I'll say it was unlike anything, honestly. It was so cool to see so many different layouts on that track. Cause like every time I've gone, it's been, the same 2 layouts, and that's totally fine. Like I said, it works. There's a lot of drivers at those events, and it's the best way to get cars through there. And there's still great layouts, but it was so cool to see that track utilized in different ways. And we talked about like kind of like that keyhole layout that you had. You kind of went down and you enter in, and you kind of do like a full circle around this area in the middle of the track, and then exit and kind of do the rest of the track. Like that was so unique. How many layouts did you guys have for that day?
So we had 6, and one of them was a layout that had like progressions to it, and they all had options actually. So that was one thing that was really awesome. I think with the amount that our crew has drifted, at US Air and have a good relationship with Michael. as far as on the facilitation and management side of it, and then also knowing the ownership team and having a little bit of trust there. I mean, they threw a lot. There was a lot of trust in that one. I mean, they had just finished I think they added like 30 some locations of concrete across the track.
Yeah.
So we had full access to something that we weren't able to drive on the year before, right? But like you said though, yeah, man, the layouts and the building of them. The cool thing being, I heard this last weekend at the event, they set a record of tire changes done. And I think about that, I'm like, man, if it had been in summer with the same size crew, these layouts were so long that I mean, we would have been near that record.
I remember because we were up there. We hosted our first event up there last fall.
Yep.
Wisconsin Modified WCC brought it back, and we did it at US Air, and it was like a drift event and kind of like car show at the same time.
Yeah.
And I remember it was like kind of halfway through the day, we opened up what we called like the full track layout. So it was like basically the entire like outer perimeter of the track. Dude.
Yep.
The amount of tires that were like, you do like 2 laps and it's like, all right, I got to go either like, let them cool or I'm swapping tires out.
Dang.
And it was like, I remember I was in the GTT. I think we went through like 8 tires that day and like a 200 and some horsepower car. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And it was so cool because like there was so many like attendees and like people there to like watch and like come to the show and stuff like that. And it was constantly people are like, I want to go for a ride along. I want to go for I've never given so many freaking ride alongs. I'm like, just so you know, I don't really know what I'm doing, but we're gonna have a great time.
Yeah,
and I tell you what, that like pushed me to learn more than anything because people were so hyped to get in the car. I'm like, well, I must be doing something. Right? It looks cool from out there, so it's got to be cool from in here. But yeah, the changing up the courses on there was so cool, and coming up to that event was such a like refreshing thing to see. It was really cool to see. You guys even did like a competition during the middle.
Yep. Yeah, and I think in that way, on a unique layout, it just brings such a different level of challenge. One, to figure it out, second, then to drive it competitively. And we had, man, there's just so many great drivers in the area. So for something like that, you're exactly right. Whether it's comp or for ride-alongs, it's a unique experience. I mean, I think that's how everyone gets started within that. I mean, for me, Brian Peter, he had run, Formula Drift at some point of his career. Incredible driver. He was the first person that gave me a ride-along.
Dang.
Right.
Wow.
And then now, this many years later to actually be behind the wheel. And I think it also just shows people like, hey, like it's actually achievable.
Yeah.
Right. Being in the car, you realize you're like, oh, you don't have to be perfect.
Right.
Like, we're not trying to do dirt drops and things of that narrative. And we want to, be able to either drive the car home or put it back on the trailer under its own power.
Right.
But, there's just a sense of like, hey, we're all just trying something. I mean, you guys did a really great job, with your event. And again, that was, between your event and then they had rented out the track for Jake's birthday. And we ran, some really specific layouts there too. But, it's events like what we're doing right now. They get to utilize that resource in a different way. Right. And that's really the beauty of it. It's community, people learning, growing, and, the people that you'll bring in versus, what they had this last weekend. Very different car, enthusiasts and community. So just cool to keep the sport and the awareness growing.
I appreciate that so much too, because it's like, unfortunately up here in Wisconsin, we don't have, a lot of that. We don't have, a ton of different tracks. We don't have access to it all year round. So it's like, we're fortunate enough to be like 40 minutes from US Air, and that's a very, very sought after track.
Right.
But it's like, it's the only one that we really get to go to. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it is cool to have like, the different events up there and being able to switch things up, because if you're just running the same layout day after day after day after day, it's like, okay, you get really good at that layout and that track.
That's about
it's like you're not even learning, you're not learning the car anymore. You're just learning how to do that layout the better. So like as soon as you switch something up, and it messed me up too. It was like, I remember there was one event when we were going through like, all right, we're changing direction. I was like, holy shit. I was like spinning out. I was like, couldn't keep the car under control. I was like forgetting what gear I was like, it broke me. And I was like, shit, I got so complacent just running the same thing over and over and over again that it, I was like, damn, I need this. I need this to progress as a driver, to change things up. So really appreciative of things like Zoku and things like that. You guys plan on doing another Another event?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's something I think that as we continue to build, message around it, and then also, for the drivers and specifically just the community, like get to use that resource in a different way. And it only happens with, good partnerships, good awareness to it. But that's what, drivers in this area, they want that. Like you said, there's a very real thing that you actually can go backwards from a progress standpoint as a driver by driving the same layout.
Sure.
I've experienced it.
I believe it.
At US Air, you need to change it up. I can't, the people that are able to do in the discipline of circle track racing, that it would hurt my mind, because at some point you get to this fatigue where the brain is like, I want to do something different, but there is one way to be fast in that discipline. Right. Very interesting. But yeah, like I said, I'm really thankful. Y'all came through and made it a better event. Just with the support that you guys brought in.
Yeah,
So.
anytime, man. Yeah. Anytime. It was, like I said, it was a killer event. Looking forward to the next one.
Let's go.
I didn't make it to that.
You gotta
one,
make it to the
I
next
gotta
one.
go to the next
It's
one. Now
wild.
you guys got me hyped.
Well,
I
dude,
gotta go.
all you guys got to do is bring in. I have a feeling that sooner or later there's going to be a Martini Works, either Z or Vet that
I feel like that's probably coming sooner than later. Yeah.
yeah. See, we're manifesting.
Yeah,
it.
because between myself and Alex and Brent has done a lot of drifting stuff as well. He actually used to do a lot of stuff with Chelsea DeNofa,
Yep.
and he's
Oh wow.
Colette and all them. He was pretty involved with all of that and followed him around with the FD circuit for a while. So he's very into it too, and he's always wanted to get into something. So I think there's enough demand for something to happen. We got to get Dakota behind the wheel of a drift.
I've never
car or something
drifted.
too, so
I've never drifted.
have you've done ride-alongs though? Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've done
Okay,
ride-alongs.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I've never drifted. I think it would be fun to learn. I don't got them pockets. You guys got them deep pockets, Brett.
You see my car? No, you haven't.
No,
Because it's sitting in a garage.
Truly, it is something I'd love to get into, especially seeing all you guys do it and the progression and everything like that. It just looks like such a blast. But I'm just thankful to go to those events and bug you guys about your cars and go for ride-alongs and do all that. But yeah, I'd love to learn too, because it just seems like a blast. But yeah, it's super cool. Chris, I have one more question about your cars. They have one consistent, unique feature that I don't see on many others. You almost have these bottom cages built around the cars. How did that start? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, I think, well, one, it's actually something that apparently gets me not invited to specific drifting events. So,
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, man.
It's a thing, right? So drifting it's a rolling car show at the end of the day. It's and everyone has their right to it. But, for me, the main reason I got into it was I was like, okay, I need to protect the exterior of the car, and also in kind of a I wouldn't say exoskeleton type of inspiration.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where it came from. And whether it was, me having great relationships with local fab shops, or finding companies that just want to build these things. Specifically for the Z, the reason that thing has it is, on the ice, you can just bump into those bars.
Yeah.
And it's so forgiving on the
Right.
car.
Yeah. Right.
The Corvette, it apparently makes people a little bit intimidated to follow too close to me. My friends that do, I'm sorry about the front ends of your cars. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it was, Jenny was funny. I built it because it was something that in my mind it would protect the car. But then come to find out that we overbuilt them. The Corvette's front end, the reason that it's not on the car, after having someone go through and say hey, structurally, if you got into a wreck, you are really going to hurt someone else, and you are also going to get incredibly hurt. Because of
really?
It was so overbuilt.
Because I guess it is part of it is designed to give too, right?
A good bash bar should be your crash structure.
Yeah.
Whereas, when we were building it, we built these things gigantic and very beefy.
I didn't even think of that side of it.
And that's really where, I learned you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And that's I think part of progression. But it started out as it had good intent.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
had,
absolutely.
Like I
somewhat
bought a
of
Corvette to drift. I kind of want to protect the Corvette. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Fair.
yeah. No, and it was unique. In the first version of the Corvette, that back structure, we actually built the whole hitch assembly is in that.
Gotcha.
Oh, nice.
In its first version, I was trailering, 12 tires, a big pack out setup, and all of the nonsense.
It was a sight. I remember
Yeah.
following you up there a couple times. We drove up together. I'm like, damn, that is. That's so
It's
sick.
so ridiculous. Yeah, yeah.
I loved it. I was like, dude, he's got the setup, man.
I mean, it was until you're loading it up by yourself.
Yeah,
in the dark
that's
on a
fair.
rainy night. But yeah, I mean, like anything though, it's about the journey. It's how you get started.
Mm-hmm.
I look back to the first versions of that in this bougie setup that the rig that I roll around with now. But it was a progression, right?
Yeah,
it's
100%.
what got me into it and allowed me to put down. I mean, I don't know that I get the most laps out of an event. And that's not really like I'm not competitive in that way, but I drive a lot.
Yeah.
And the vehicles are out there usually, completely through the event. And that was my main thing. Like I got into this to drive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. So that's
you get out there and drive. That's for sure.
that's the story of the exoskeleton.
Gotcha. Yeah, I always thought it was cool. It was so unique to see, but yeah, I didn't think it from the perspective of like if it were to happen with another car. Yeah, it's structurally.
Well,
built.
thanks for the compliment. And,
Yeah.
if you happen to be one of those individuals that doesn't let me into your event, just be great. I just want to drive with y'all. Trying to be friends.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Chris, for coming on. And if everyone wants to follow you and check out what you're doing, where can they find you?
Midnight Oil 11. That is the automotive side of things. And yeah, man, I'm grateful and honored to be here. What you guys do in the local community, it makes it more special. You brought up earlier, like, we're 40 minutes from US Air, hour and change from Road America.
Yeah.
I mean, we are in the, what I would say is really the pocket and the sweet spot
Yeah.
of the state of Wisconsin from an automotive standpoint. So thanks for adding the community and the culture in the area.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
it. Yeah, that
Appreciate
means
it.
so much.
Yeah, we're just a couple of dudes. We like cool, rad shit. So we're out there enjoying it with you guys. And thank you for always supporting. And yeah, even letting Alex take your car. That's unheard of. So thank you so much, man. You've been a pleasure to talk to today. And Gels, you got any final words?
No, just thanks again so much, Chris. And again, go follow him. Make sure you support him because he's supported us quite a bit at the track and off the track. So thanks again, Chris, so much. And then to wrap things up here, one more final sponsor of the Martini Works podcast. Talked a lot about track driving and
You were
getting the
using it
cars
a minute
down and
ago.
dirty. I was using it a minute ago because keep driving these cars. We don't wash them until it's too late. But good thing we got Melco Automotive, the final sponsor of Martini Works podcast, to clean these dang things up, especially the wheels. My God, do they get absolutely caked in tire and brake dust. Brake dust is like my mortal enemy right now.
Yeah.
But it does an incredible job. We've been putting Melco through its paces, whether it's the car itself, the interior, the wheels, the tires. I tell you, my favorite product is that damn tire cleaner. It works so freaking good, and it leaves it looking brand new. It doesn't leave it like slick and like that
Wet.
showroom like
Yeah.
wet. It's just it
looks like a brand new
black.
tires
It's just
on your car.
New tire, yeah, and it looks so good. But they got stuff from like your cut and polish, your wax, your detailing, ceramic. We even ceramic coat the wheels. If you pick up wheel and tire package, you want ceramic coating, we'll ceramic coat it with the Melco stuff. Send you a bottle of the ceramic upkeep, which is from Melco. It's fantastic stuff. We put it through the paces before we even brought them on board on the website because we want to make sure that if you guys are buying some detail product, that you're not getting super cheap stuff and you're not overpaying for something that's not going to work. I think this is like the perfect right in the middle spot, which is why we created some packages for car show care. If you want just something for glass, if you want just something for wheels, got some specific packages made up for you guys. So go check all that out over at martiniworks.com. Keep your car clean, and thank you so much for Melco for sponsoring the podcast. Thank you guys all so much. Chris, again, thank you for being here. And everyone have a fantastic weekend. We'll see you next week.